this was presented by Dave at what we called the kind of the regional road shows, and what I found was that we're probably quite poor at communicating the fact that these things are available. And when we talk to people about them, it's, oh, I didn't know I had that, or I didn't know that was there. So I think it's a good way of just telling you the stuff that we've got that's there. I mean, it's not a means of saying, look it up before calling us, please don't email us or whatever, but there's a lot of useful information that we've got online, and there's things that you've got access to that you might not know that you've got access to. So the first thing is this site, help.medial.com. And Dave was doing all his animations and stuff when he did this presentation. He was really getting into his PowerPoint. So help.medial.com is it's a site that's really, it's probably better described as a documentation website. So anything to do with the software, installing it, or any kind of directions or whatever, setting it up, administering it. There is some fairly good end user content there for people that want to use Medial, so you could point people in that direction, but I would term it more of a documentation site for kind of system administrators and people that are actually using and installing the software from that perspective. So you can go there. Who has used that site? Who has gone there? Okay, good. It was worth the effort. And it has a search as well, so you can search for whatever, and it's quite a powerful search. It'll bring up anything with that particular keyword, and it'll highlight it all, and you kind of get this experience where you go through it. And this is something that we with our documentation, it was something that me and Dave would write in a Word document, and we'd kind of put it together and create this PDF and go through it. But being perfectly frank with you, neither of us were professional document writers for a piece of software. So in the end, what we ended up doing was taking on somebody that was a professional document writer, and we give them our rubbish documentation that we write, and then they make it into something that's much more palatable and something that looks better. I'm not slagging off Dave's documentation, by the way. I'm just saying that this is much, much better than historically what we've done realistically. So you can go to that site to find out all of those things. And a lot of people use this for installing and upgrading the software. So the documentation to do with upgrading the software is particularly good on this site. Although I know, a lot of the time in the UK, Dave will handhold people through these installations and upgrades as well. And we're there to do that, but it's just, this information is there if you want to use it. The other place to look at as well is what we call a PAM site. So it's a product and account maintenance site, so pam.medial.com. And what we did with this is now what you can do is you can log on to this, and this has pretty much everything that you need. So before, this was something that was kind of provided for us by Real Networks, the people that had the Helix software. Now we have our own one that you can go into. And if you're lucky enough to have Rob Thomas as your account manager, you could see that as well. But you'd log your case, you can view cases, you can download your software, you can download all your license keys there as well. Another thing that people kind of used to ask me for a lot, I remember, was that they want to know the end date of their support, for contractual reasons. That's all in there as well. So it's all there for you to use, and also it's a good way of kind of viewing all of your cases so that you can see the ones that are open, the ones that you've still got to deal with. So there's a form there that you can fill out. We get all of this information ahead of time. It's really obvious stuff, but that is really useful to us, like to initially know the build of Medial that you're using. We'll just ask you these questions anyway, the building block that you're using for Blackboard, the plugin that you're using for Moodle, etc. So if you can make all that information available to us, you can do it all through this site. We totally don't mind if people email us. It still creates a case in the same way. It's just that this is a much more organised way of doing it. Yep.
The content that's on the site, are we allowed to reuse that?
Yep.
So we can take that content and put it on?
Yeah, we've got no problem with the copyright of the content at all. We can just go for it. Not a problem at all. Yeah, the only thing is with that help site, it's not, it's all there on a web page at the end of the day, so you could copy and paste it or whatever. I think you can print it as PDFs as well if you wanted to. The other thing about the help site as well, let me just show you. Oh, how did I do this again, Dave? I'm going like a whole swipe. No. There you go. This is something that I find people use quite a lot. So here, if you're using the Blackboard building block or the Moodle plugin, this page here has an iframe that you can embed into a page. So I've found, you know, occasionally when Dave goes off on his, you know, long holidays and stuff, I work on a few support cases here and there, and a lot of the people will ask me and they'll say, oh, well, you know, I just want to make it easy for people to understand how to use this tool. Have you got any course materials or something? And I just direct them to this video because it basically shows them how to do it. It's like a little video playlist. And this is just an iframe that you can put into your Moodle or your Blackboard course and just embed it in there. And then just say, hey, you want to know how to use it? Just watch this video because it shows it from the instructor and the student perspective. So I would definitely, you know, promote the use of that.
Sorry, the playlist though on the right-hand side, does that show up and the embed code?
Yeah.
Because the query that we've had is the playlists comes out of, is that right, JW Player?
Yeah.
But it's not in.
Not in Medial, no.
So the query that we have is people want to create playlists.
Yes.
And so by embedding this, people think that they can embed playlists.
Right, okay.
And they can't. So we haven't used this, and we haven't used the embed code purely because of that. So my question is when are you going to allow playlists?
It's in the roadmap section. So I get asked this a lot about playlists because I actually created that player, and when people see it, they will say, oh, that's really cool, you should put that into your software. So, and actually when we mailed out, we did a webinar recently on V5, and we mailed it out as a playlist, and again, I got more questions on it. So the reason we hadn't done it up to date was to do with security. It's quite, because our software is, we're assuming that some of the content in that playlist is secure and some of it isn't. So we've always had a kind of a playlist as a kind of bar along the bottom of our software, which means you have to log into our software to do it. We'd spoken about this quite a lot to the point at which we kind of came to the conclusion that realistically, probably the best way of doing these playlists was to do them within a page, like a secure page, but a page that you could go to. So like a URL that you could go to that just had the playlist on it, and that was it. Because that's kind of the easiest way from a security point of view of doing it. But I do agree with you. When people see it, they always say, that's really cool, I like that. But it's just a limitation of the security, really. But we are doing it. That is going to be something in the roadmap that's like first order of play after V5's release, really. It's right in there, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, embed, you know, if you embed it, you might get people moaning. You could equally embed all of those videos if you wanted to. So those videos are, if you go to media.medialibrary.com and you go to Medial video content, they're all here as well. Yeah, they're all there. So you could just go and grab the embed code for all of those videos. Or, you know, you might find that all of them is a bit overkill, really. You might only need one or two of them, like how to create an assignment or something like that. And equally, this site as well, this is our Medial. It has all of our event content in it. And we'll be upgrading this one to V5 very, very shortly. This is where we keep all of our stuff. Oh, wrong way. There we go. The other thing that we have is this support.medial.com. Who's been to this site? Who's used it? Great, cool. So support.medial.com is kind of more of a knowledge base, I would say. So as we close cases and as we figure out little quirks and little cool things that you can do, we add them to this site. So the format of this is just, you know, everything's in little sections, and you go to an article, and then, you know, it's got all the information that you need, and we just expose all of the articles to everyone, really. So you know, if you're looking at something that's wrong or something that you can't quite figure out, you know, I would say go here first. Certainly have a look, because if it's a problem that somebody else has had, we'll have logged it. As soon as we close a case, we will put the content up here to be available to people, because we weren't particularly good at sharing that before, I would say. So we created that site to do that.
Sorry, Rob, is this different from help?
Yeah. Yeah. So help is more of a kind of documentation website, documenting all the use of the software, everything that's available within the software. The support one is like a knowledge base. It's like, you know, if you've got a problem with the software or you want to understand how to use a particular bit of it, go to the support website. Yeah. It's kind of a mix of things there. They're kind of bugs, but also kind of tips as well. There's quite a few things in there. And it's growing all the time, that one. And then another thing, I mean, I don't know, Dave, do you want to talk on this, QuickTime? I mean, it's pretty brief, but...
Yeah, basically just QuickTime announced they no longer support, they're not going to be supporting QuickTime on, or Apple announced, on Windows anymore. So when we did this, we thought, oh, right, that might be a bit of a problem, but it turns out it's not. And like Rob said earlier with the K-Lite codec pack, we did a lot of testing, submitted loads of different files, and it seems that these days Windows just comes with the codecs necessary, certainly with the Windows desktop experience feature that you can install on Windows, and if you install that on Windows, then you don't need these things, it turns out. So
I think the underlying transcoder as well has a lot of the libraries that are required to do the transcoding now. So, you know, whereas before with the Helix producer, we needed QuickTime, absolutely had to have it because it was a kind of a direct show program. You can really get rid of that now, and you should realistically get rid of it because, like Dave said, on the Windows side, Apple are just saying, goodbye, we don't want anything to do with QuickTime anymore. So that's gone. And then with the other codecs that are on there, I mean, I'm not 100% convinced we don't need everything that's there. So I'd probably urge people to not uninstall that yet. But certainly the testing that we seem to be doing seems to indicate that we don't really need the vast majority of the stuff that's on there anymore, which is good because it makes our installation process a lot lighter weight as well, which is good. Any questions on that stuff? No? We had questions throughout, didn't we?